Amazing guest. Good evening. There you go, Greg. I was just welcoming.
Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. If you can see this picture, this is a picture from our national convention, and we just got off our national call every Monday night, our community call, and this is our monthly team wellness huddle. And we're super excited to have a guest speaker, somebody that I have been privileged to work with over the years because she's a part of Dr. A's leadership team. And her and her husband, Lee, have built an amazing business. She's an integrated presidential director, and she's more than just a rock star health coach. She is an amazing mom. She's an amazing entrepreneur. Her and her husband do real estate. And it's amazing how she gets so much done. And her and I've had several talks about time management and like, how do we keep this balance in our life? And so, Lana, I would just love to have you come on and share a little bit about your journey with Optavia, and starting with, back to the beginning, because a lot of people that see you now, you're all dolled up, you're, beautiful, but you came over with a very humble beginning. And if you could take us back to that time when you and Lee were kind of migrating and immigrating, tell us a little about your background and how you found Optavia, what grabbed your attention, and kind of then we'll go through your journey into leadership.
Hey, Greg. So exciting to be here with you today, and just humbled to share my story. Thank you for your kind compliments. And, this is just the beauty of when you commit, dig in, and persist, and try to convince yourself to not give up, which I've had to do many times, because sometimes it kind of got tough. So I've been I've been coaching for 16 years. My husband joined me a couple of years in. I was a 23-year-old, and honestly, at that time, even though I understood English was still very much a second language for me. It was very difficult for me to speak. And I was really shy about it. As a matter of fact, when I came to the first Optavia conference, my sponsor introduced me to Dr. A, and I opened my mouth and nothing came out. I mean, literally. And I kept trying to say hi and nothing would come out. And he said, "It's okay. We can try next time." So you guys, you have so much hope, because most of you probably can speak the language. So yes, my husband and I were first generation immigrants from the former USSR, and moved at a young age and kind of lived segregated. So speaking of circle of influence, we had a very, very small circle of influence of just other immigrants trying to survive, trying to build a life here. So Optavia kind of came to me in a very unusual way. So I put myself through college, being really, really hard, put it all on student loans. And I just remember being told early on, hey, if you become a nurse, you will always have a job. You won't starve. And that sounded really good, because before then I was just living on white rice and a little teriyaki sauce. That was the cheapest thing in our cafeteria that would last. Probably wasn't very good for my weight. But that's just really what was life. And, we'd go and split a restaurant meal 4 ways so that we could just have an experience occasionally of going out. Before then, to put myself through college, I had all kinds of odd jobs. I helped my mom clean homes. When we just moved, I was a berry picker. In Oregon with all the, summers. That's what I would do for hours, pick berries and, do all this farm work. So when we saw the possibilities, I didn't really see this right away. What happened was, actually, we have obesity in my family, Greg, and my sister was pretty desperate. And she, without telling any of us, she just told her husband. They went to Mexico and they had this gastric lab band procedure done. And I literally get a call saying, "I think your sister's dying. You need to fly to Tijuana like today." And I was already a nurse. Something's not right here and we don't know what's going on. We don't know what to do. So imagine this, you're an immigrant in the US, you're in Mexico, you don't speak the language, and your wife is dying. So I flew in, and I just remember, some of you who might be healthcare professionals, there was a dopamine drip hanging and they were counting the drops. It wasn't, and that's like a life-saving drug. And if you get the wrong dose, horrible things would happen. And at that moment, it was a shocker for me because I just realized the desperate roads people will go on, the scary, life-threatening things that will happen if when you're that overweight and unhealthy, and what some people are willing to do. So my sister ended up being fine. She was brought to the United States. I mean, they punctured her stomach in the process. She had to have multiple surgeries, but she made it. But while I was visiting her in the hospital in the United States, I met a woman once, speaking of chances, and she was like, I've heard about this program. My neighbor's doing it. They're a diabetic and their blood sugars got normal and they're losing weight. And I was like, tell me about this, because no one I ever met in the hospital got better. They, people always got worse and worse.
Yeah,
So
10 minutes.
I became interested. So this was my introduction to what was then Take Shape for Life. I had someone, a coach like one of you guys, reach out to me, and this is where the journey began.
And so you actually found out about it from her, kind of thinking about it more from how can I help other people? And did she end up being your sponsor, or did you go to a workshop, or how did you end up getting started in the coaching side of it?
So that neighbor person ended up actually calling me and signed me up. I never met that woman who she was my sister's friend. Our paths never crossed again. So you guys, you never know what just one share could do, but those people were really great. They followed up. I signed up for the program because I had about 25 pounds to lose. And I was like, I'm going to test this out, and this works. I want to help everybody in my family. And I knew that they wouldn't sign up unless I helped them.
Yeah, I kind of started off of the program as a coach at the same time and just said, who wants to do it with me? But I think, most people, 80–90% of coaches, they get on the program, they have a personal experience. You needed to test it. You didn't have much experience with it. So you want to test it on yourself. And then obviously it worked. Tell us about your personal journey and how you got enthralled in the opportunity to share it and pay it forward.
Yeah. So obviously it worked. 3 weeks into it, people started asking, and I had people say, hey, if you figure out how to do this thing, like, we'll sign up with you, but we're not going to talk to people we don't know. So I feel it in some ways it was like, okay, fine. Like, I really want to help you guys, and you're not going to talk to my sponsor. And this is how I started. It was all just people from my family and then other nurses on my floor where I worked as a nurse. For me, it was kind of slow, you guys. It was ups and downs. A couple of years in, my husband, Lee, he was a general contractor and an electrician. And you guys know what happened in 2008. That kind of all just imploded. And all of a sudden we just were sinking in debt. Our Take Shape for Life Optavia business just started making some money. I just went like part-time in my job, and Lee then is like, I don't know what this business is. I don't know everything. I've gone to a few events with you, but I'm joining you. And I think that was a huge key for us because he brought a lot of the skills. I think if it wasn't for Lee, I'd probably still be who knows what would be. He always thought strategically and like business oriented. And I think that was the biggest blessing, is to have him alongside me to make me think, to require us to think bigger, because we had no money coming in.
Yeah. I think in this business, one of the things that you've often heard people say is it's a personal development business disguised as a health company. Yeah. Because even on the journey as a client, you have to learn how to manage your emotions, how to create healthy habits. That's a psychological thing more than a physical doing it. Like, knowing what to do is one thing, but being able to do it. And then as you grow and you start having more clients, you have to become a better communicator. As you grow and start having coaches, you have to become a better communicator. So you've been really passionate about personal development, and Optavia has been a breeding ground for you and Lee to do that. Tell us a little bit about how you grew first into coaching coaches and then into coaching leaders and building globals and helping people go even further.
Yeah, so for us, all of a sudden, we needed more money. And that was just, if you do the math, you kind of look at, hey, how much I can do on my own. And then I better use this bucket too and start earning income. And that absolutely required personal growth. So for me, it was terrifying. I used to have I would get sick to my stomach. I'd have anxiety. I would actually sit down and have like this reward system. If I approach a person today, I get to do this special thing. Like whichever way I could do it, I would write it out on my note cards. I would practice it. But I literally, most of the time, felt like I would puke. And so, but you just kind of get through it. I think there is just a blessing in having some necessity, because honestly, I think if it wasn't required that we get out of this whole financial hole we're in with losing businesses, drowning in student loans, and there's a lot of like people, I was in my early 20s then, there's a lot of people today in that situation. And sometimes it's like having that burden actually requires you to level up, because that former version of you isn't going to make it out of there in any good way. So that's where the personal growth happened, because it was just absolutely necessary.
I love that. You turned to your adversity and the flame of where you were, the hot coals that you needed to get out of, into motivation, but you did it in a conscious way where you were growing and becoming a better person, a better mom, a better wife, a better coach, a better leader. And I love the game you're playing. Like, it's like, how many people on this call have sometimes have that heavy resistance to reaching out and taking that chance, or being rejected, or asking that question, or, but you made it into a game. And my bet is now it's a lot easier than it was back then. Now you probably don't get nauseous as often.
Well, it's interesting. I don't get nauseous like at all. Like, honestly, like I can ask anyone anything, like anything. So that's the beauty of it, is because on the other side of, you just kind of burn out of yourself any fear, doubt. I mean, you can at least go for the ask. You already know that on the other side, there's nothing. There's an answer. There's a possibility. And you're moving forward because it's either yes or no. It's like asking the girl or a guy out on a date. You're either going to go on one or not, or maybe not yet, but you're certainly further along because you have more information. So it's one of the most freeing things. I'll tell you, just from my personal opinion, what this enables, mastering the skill sets and becoming a leader in Optavia, which I actually had massive resistance towards because I wasn't raised to be a leader. That was just like not a thing that I even considered. I really had a lot of resistance to that because in my mind, Greg, I had to look like a woman in a suit and like basically act like a little man, and or what I imagined as like be stern and serious, and I just couldn't see myself there. And then I had to kind of go, if we're going to do this leadership thing, like it's going to have to be like mommy style, because that's the season I was in.
Yeah.
That was the next place to go to grow. Like once you kind of get on this path, I think you almost get like addicted in a good way to the wins, to the growth, to the possibilities, because I think when you do this right, I call this like the blossoming, because when you do this right, and Dr. A talked about just at this event that we're at this weekend about the 7 areas of wellness, you kind of blossom in the financial, in the emotional, in the physical, in the spiritual, in the relational, in the familial, in the social. You just kind of, hey, because you're a better communicator, your relationships get better, your marriage gets better, you're financially doing better, you can save and invest more, you have more time so you can consciously choose it. You've learned to discipline and organize yourself. Therefore, you also learn how to organize other areas of your life. So it's actually quite tremendous what becomes available. I think it's not spoken about enough, because you truly become the master of your life, I think, at the level that you want to. And for me right now, it's kids and taking them places and building experiences and having fun date nights and making new friends, and also working my business. I have plenty of time for that. But it really is, growing in this business is really, I see that as mastery. It was never just about the money or the numbers for me, ever. It was always about, how do I just blossom into this beautiful life where I get to do it how I want to do it.
I love that word blossom because it inherently talks about seasons. Like there's not, sometimes there's a year-round, flower, but usually they blossom and they go away and then they blossom their seasons, and you go through these cycles. And like just even getting to a higher level in your business, it requires different skill sets. Like now that you're an IPD, you're dealing with different issues than you were when you were a regional director.
Good morning.
Right? So being able to like see how am I blossoming at each stage of the game. What's exciting for you now? I mean, because I hear you on our calls with Dr. A, you're always in learner mode. You're somebody who always wants to learn. You're always curious and asking questions. What advice would you give to somebody who is back where you were when you're, a glorified ED, you're moving into team building? What kind of a mindset to be a learner would you recommend? What kind of questions should they ask themselves?
Yeah, so I think that's a place where it's common either to park or to want to quit. So I would say like lock in to, I am not going to quit. Like I'm not going to discuss quit in my brain, because it just what it does, like when you kind of like in and out, you waste time and it takes you a lot longer. Like quit that thought. If you want to, usually I laughingly tell my team, if you want to quit something, quit some kind of crap in your life, like find something else to quit, lock in, and you almost kind of have to climb through this chasm, and it's dark and it's lonely, maybe, unless you're really close to your mentor like Greg or whatever, but you still have to like do the work. You have to go and commit and do it over and over and over again, and just don't question, because I feel like for so many times, for so many years, I would just kind of go, I'm in today, I'm out tomorrow, I'm in today, something pissed me off, I'm out. And like, I would just always lose momentum because of that. Trust me, if you're going to quit, you would have already quit. Don't quit. You're not going to quit. You're just messing with yourself and procrastinating. And it's not worth quitting, because I truly, honestly believe, hey, if there was this fabulous opportunity that was a million times better than Optavia, you would have already went for it. It's not there. So just lock in and go through it and focus and shorten that learning curve, kind of like, toe dipping. So I almost feel like, so here's your client business. That's fairly simple, but to build a team, it's a whole new tool belt. It's a whole new skill set to learn. Think of it as almost like a new business that you're building. Like I had to kind of go in these buckets. Like this is the bucket I'm in. This is great. This is my client business. I'm doing all the things, but I have to almost separate that and go, all I'm doing is learning how to sponsor. So for like a year I had, and actually I do this every time. Lee and I do this every time when we want to kind of bring a new harvest forth, is I go every single day, 6 days a week, I ask someone to coach. It's not, and now I'm a lot more selective because like we know what we're looking for, but like if you are not there yet, it's about who you need to become as an asker versus who's on the other end. So I would say like go in and just say today, like my head cannot go down on my pillow until I ask someone to explore coaching. It could be your mailman, it could be a client, it could be your friend, it could be someone on Facebook. Doesn't matter. Become a good asker, because then you're going to become really, really good at that skill set. And all of a sudden you're a lot more valuable in Optavia, because that opens a lot of doors. So that would be my suggestion, is really commit, lock, like cut off other options, lock in on that, and then start asking someone on very, very regular basis, and celebrate the ask, not the response.
Beautiful. That's so simple and so on track. Like it's a KPI. It's like a key performance indicator. If you're not asking people to coach, you're not going to be building a sponsoring team. So that is so beautifully said. Thank you, Lana. And the other thing what you put in here is it's mastery. You really have this idea of mastery. You're still on the journey of mastery. You're still getting better. 16 years later, you're still going to workshops. You just came back from a event. You're still sharpening your axe and getting better. So I hope everyone tonight really took away some gems, and also remember like what we have in our hands. Like this beautiful business model that we have is so tremendous and so unique. Don't take it for granted. Don't play with it, toe dip, and think about, giving up. Like, remember what's possible. And if you want a book that could help you with that, it's been really powerful for me. Dr. A recommended it. It's called The Gap and the Gain. And he really talks about, how to look at things from the gain perspective versus the gap, how far you have to go versus how far you've come. So thinking ahead, Lana, how far you've come, the gain is exciting to where you and Lee are going to be another 16 years from now. And I'm so grateful to be on the journey with you. If you'd like to stay on for a little while, we're going to do a couple things next. We're going to talk about some of the changes in the compensation plan. And we're also going to talk about some of the opportunities we have. So first of all, I'm going to share my screen. I want to say that if you haven't heard, there is a new change in the comp plan where they are now removing the certification bonus, the 3% certification. What they're doing is they're shifting that money towards building senior coaches and sponsoring. We have this accelerator bonus that they started in July, and now it's being extended all the way until December, all the way into the new year. So Pat and I were talking about it, and it really gives us an opportunity that's very unique. And I'd like to share my screen and actually let Pat share it, because you said something really beautiful, Pat. Is like, you ever wished you had a chance to start over? And that, what a great question.
Wow. And before I get started, just want to say thank you to Lana. Oh my gosh, the pearls of wisdom that she just shared with us. And, to think exactly as Lana said, quitting, most of us who became coaches, it's not because we're quitters. It's because we were looking for better. We were looking to fix, for something in our lives, whether it's helping others like Lana did, with her dear sister in the very beginning, or, helping to get a husband out of corporate America is why I did it. And yet, every now and then things change, even if we start, and like Lana, no matter how long we've been here, every now and then we want to give up on ourselves. So who here has ever said, oh, I wish I could do it again? For all of us, this is a chance to start again, to do it again. And so with this, so I'm speaking to all of us. This accelerator bonus started for brand new coaches. We tried it in July and August, and right now the company has offered it to all of us, September through December. So this slide just shows our compensation now without that 3%. And Greg,
Sorry.
maybe we can just talk without the slide.
Okay.
And we'll bring it back. Thank you. But for each and every one of us right now, when I think this excites me, I'm as excited as I was 16 years ago when I became a coach. So what's happened? And I think it's a blessing for those of us who already have a business. For brand new coaches, it's a fabulous way to jumpstart your business. But I want every one of you that have been a coach more than 2 months to think of it this way. Optavia has just inspired me and will reward me if I go out and get at least 3 to 5 clients every month for the next 4 months. And let's put it at 5. Come on. No, let's not set that bar too low. Optavia so 5 clients, that's a month for the next 4 months. That's 20 new clients. That's at least $6,000 in frontline volume that they are giving me an opportunity to get off my lazy butt and get to work again. They are giving me an opportunity to earn 28% on at least on an additional $6,000. They are giving me an opportunity to go out and share with others that I can help get to senior coach. And if we bring people to senior coach, we'll create FIBCs. And if I get a coach and help them launch this business, guide and support them, and help them learn how to coach and how to acquire 5 clients a month, by the end of December, we will have an executive director leg in our business. So they're not only helping me, they're helping me create senior coaches. They're helping me and every one of us create executive directors. And what will that do? That will create regional directors, national directors, global directors, presidential directors. Who is ready to get to work and bring on more people that will help spread and our mission. There's so many out there just looking for what we have.
So true. So well said. And you know, that's the gain thinking. That's how somebody who comes from above the line, thinking what's working, what's next, what do the future I want to create, you know, living these habits of transformational leaders. That's how you think, Pat. So thank you for really putting that perspective. I totally see it. This is a chance to restart, refresh, and make it happen. I'm going to share the, I do want to share the slide that shows the
Assist.
the assist, yeah, and also
the assist. Now, this is not just if I assist my brand new client, my brand new coach, Linda. This is for every coach direct to me. Let's say Dee Garcia gets her 5 new clients any of these months, whichever month she does, I'll get the assist bonus. That's too good to be true. 3 to 5 clients. Now, if you're a new coach or any coach only gets 3 clients, the bonus is 150 for the new coach. It's 150 for the sponsoring coach. And the assist bonus is only 1 of the 4 months. But even if Dee Garcia doesn't get her 5 clients till December, I would get it in December, 1 time per coach. And Dee, I hope you're okay with me picking on you. Dee is amazing frontline. I don't know how she can keep getting.
I'm fine with that, Pat. Thanks.
Yeah.
and just remembering this, this is for all coaches, not just new coaches, each of us included. B, it's for all your team members, anyone who wants to grow, they want to build. This is an incentive for you to help them and for them to do it. And they get to earn it for 4 months. So if they got 5 in September, that's 250. 5 in October, another that's 500, 5 in November, that's 750, 5 in December. They could hit extra $1,000, and you could get that assist bonus once in that cycle.
Exactly.
So just remember, this is a chance for you as leaders to get in put that hat that Lana was talking about, that leadership hat. Put that hat on, help them create a vision. Get excited about where they're going. And let me just celebrate, because one of the things we do on our monthly call is we celebrate the people who've ranked up and people who are bringing on clients, bringing on coaches and sponsoring. So I want to share, if you haven't been on Team Wellness, we always pin it on there. It's our one of our pinned posts on Team Wellness, and it shows the there we go, Team Wellness. Here's our congratulations for all the people that ranked up the month of August. So we had Rebecca Gould, congratulations. First month as integrated regional director. Congratulations, Rebecca's on the call with us tonight. Jill Huan became executive director. Lori became a director. Tanya, associate director. Karen Twombly, associate director. Shelly, lots of associate directors. Shelly Metzler, Donna, manager. Kayleen, manager, Lori Staples, manager, Peggy Ralphs, manager, Vicky, manager, and then our senior coaches, Ashley, Deb, Rhonda, and Tanya. So we just want to say congratulations for everyone who is not only doing the work, but the team leaders that are helping them, the coaches that are mentoring them and guiding them, and the global directors and FIBICs who are doing it as well. There are a couple events coming up. I know Doc Larry and Whitney have an event coming up, Healthy Living Live. The next one is in October. Is that correct?
13th.
Correct, October 13th. And we did do a recording of our last one, and I can put the link to the recording in the chat if anybody wants to see it.
Oh, that'd be great. I know Rose has been on that. This is a great place for you to invite your coaches or clients, I should say, especially if you see coach potential in them, to bring them, because we celebrate the 4 components. We also share from a client and a coach perspective. So it's a really good use of time. It's a great way to invite people. Of course, plug into all the things that we do with Optavia. The Monday night call was amazing tonight. We're going to be, putting out events as we go. So please check into Team Wellness. That's where we'll put all the updates. And if you don't know what's going on, reach out to your global or your FIBC. And our next FIBC call is, what is it, October 1st, Pat?
7.
October 7th. Okay, so our next Team Wellness call is October 1st, Monday. And then on the 7th, it was our FIBC call. Now, the FIBCs are the first half an hour. And then any executive directors, any qualified executive directors, if you, the highest rank executive director, you can join in on the second half. And on that part of the call, the ED is a little bit advanced leadership. We're actually going through the book, The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. And we're talking about these principles of how do we be a great leader. So that would be something I would encourage any executive director or above to jump on and get with your mentor to find out about that. And we'll put the link in there as well. Whitney says, can you talk about creating time blocks on the calendar for these events? Oh, sure. That's a great idea. I have all of these events, the Monday night call, FIBC call, anything that's a reoccurring OptiVia event. It's a block in my calendar, reoccurring event. I have the Zoom number there. I have everything I need. Like a reminder pops up so I don't forget, and I don't book over it. So I think it's important to make these kind of your boulders in your calendar, like the mason jar, those big rocks, we put them in first. This is one of those big rocks. So hopefully y'all are doing that. And thanks, Pat, for co-hosting tonight. Thanks, Lana, again, for sharing from your heart. What a great share that was. And thanks, Larry, for updating us on everything that's coming down the pipe. And we'll see you guys later. Say a little prayer for Larry. He's going in to have his back checked tomorrow. He's got a little back pain going on. So, Larry, hope you do well, buddy. Everyone else,
Everyone.
yeah, love you guys. Have a great night. And share the link for this. We're going to post the link in Team Wellness. So any of your coaches that didn't make it, make sure they watch this video.
Good job, Lana. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. Lana, I think, had to jump off. But
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.